I'm gonna just be upfront. This is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think that she wrong. Hey y'all, it's your girl Sif Fashionista. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about Emma Grede and the explosion of the internet in regards to women working from home and being in the workplace. Okay, we're gonna talk about that, y'all. Now, I'm gonna just be upfront. This is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think that she's wrong. I don't. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't think she's wrong. Okay, let's get into it. I saw the Kiki Palmer interview when she did it, and I thought what she said was factual, and I scrolled to the next thing. I really did. And then it was like, boom. I saw all these videos about, well, they didn't like what Emma Grede had to say. I'm like, what did she say? What did I miss? And what she was saying is that, women are missing out on opportunities in the workplace because they're working from home, and that you need to be visible in order to, be considered. Okay. Now, we already know that you could be visible in the workplace, in office, and still not be considered. But like I would tell my teams that I've had in the past, you have what they call a checklist. Okay. It's an unwritten checklist for workplace success. And I gave it to them because I wanted them to be successful. And these are things that people that are in other positions of leadership are going to look at. And if you have these things done, you get more points, if you will. And if you don't have one of these things done, then guess what? That's an easy goalpost that you now can't get past. They'll say, oh, well, you don't have this done. You need to get this done, and then you can go to the next level. You need to get this done or get that done. And so as a person that has repeatedly been faced with the goalposts, you know what I did? I took the time throughout my career to start checking off the boxes. Okay, I have moved around to different parts of the country. I have worked at different levels within my organization. I've worked from the lowest level to the highest level. Okay. I have been in supervision. I have not been in supervision in some of these positions as well. I've also went and I've done the unique training for my organization to the highest level possible. I've done that. I've also gotten a master's degree. So I've done all these things to check the boxes. Because guess what? Like I said, if you don't have this one thing checked, then guess what? You're not going to go further. And you got to make it hard for these people to, I'm going to make it hard for them to find out how they're going to stop me from doing the next thing. Don't make it easy for them. You got to make it hard for them. So you go ahead and check those boxes. So they have to think harder on how to prevent you from going to the next step. I have applied for positions and done interviews. I mean, I did really well on the interview, and I was more qualified than the other candidate. And you know what they told me as a reason why I didn't get the position? I wasn't enthusiastic enough when I gave the response as to why I wanted the position. Yes, that was what they told me. I wasn't enthusiastic enough. Okay. Yes. So we're not going to spend a lot of time about me talking about my workplace adversities, but just know that I'm a woman speaking of a position from dealing with continued and continuous workplace adversities. Okay. So I'm not someone that's speaking from an uninformed posture. I am very informed. Okay. Now, let me just say this. I have been told throughout my career that it's all about visibility and it's all about name recognition. Why do I say that? Now, where I work at, we have these programs where you can submit your resume and your short and long term goals, and you can request for senior leadership to look at what you've done, look at what you want to do, and give you some ideas on how you can move forward within your career, what your next step should be, that type of thing. Now, it's not an opportunity for you to get another job, but it's just an opportunity to get senior leader insight on your career, right? So this is a couple things for you. One, you get that insight. But two, you're being visible from a name and resume posture when it comes to senior leaders throughout the organization. So if you want a potential opportunity in the future, they may recognize your name and, oh, well, this person, participated in this type of event, and yeah, they're going places. This person is really, up and coming. They've done all these things. Yes. So y'all, let me just tell you guys this. I'm a person that had to, well, I didn't have to. I made the conscious decision to step back in my career. It was a step back in terms of like position and pay, but it filled in a gap for me that I didn't have, that was going to be very hard for me to fill if I tried to continue doing it where I was at. So I had to step back a little bit to prepare forward, and it worked out well for me. Okay. So yeah, I mean, you have to do those risks sometimes in your career in order to be able to move forward and progress. So I'm saying that to say is that because I made that decision back then, I then became the poster child for some of these senior leaders, where they would tell people about me across the ecosystem of where I work, about how this young woman stepped back to leap forward. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, once you get to a certain position, you don't want to step back. But guess what though? I knew that because I had did exceptional work, I knew that I wasn't gonna have an issue getting back where I need to get to. You know what I'm saying? When you do good work and when you have good relationships, because relationships are key. And if you're working from home, it could be a little hard to maintain those relationships, but it's not impossible. So, like I said, a lot of what she is saying is accurate. But you could be in an environment in which working from home is the norm. So you have to be able to understand and know where you work and how to apply the advice. That's all that it is, because two things can be right at the same time. But let me tell you, I knew this guy. He was considered an up and coming rising star in the organization. And so he was in this program where he was able to work from home, but his work consisted of him doing his master's degree full time. So he didn't have an actual like day-to-day workplace job. His job was to go to school. A promotion opportunity came open. Guess what he did? He started coming back into the office. He put in for that promotion, and guess what, y'all? He got it. Was he required to come back in? Nope. But he wanted that promotion. And he knew that he needed to be visible in order to be, a contender for said position. So this man came back into the office to work a regular type job, although he was assigned to just go to school full time for his 2 years. He came in but guess what though? He wasn't doing like a daytime master's program. So he would get up in the morning, have breakfast with his kids, take the kids to school, that kind of thing. He had a leisurely day. So he had a full day to come into the office because he was doing his master's degree in the evening or online. He had a good situation, but he decided to make the sacrifice to not do the work from home aspect in order to come in the office and get that promotion. He did that. And then people were asking, well, how did he get that opportunity? He was working from home. He was in school. His mentors probably told him, young man, bring your tail into the office. Like I said, you have to understand where you work and understand the unwritten rules of the workplace. You got to know this if you're going to be successful. You know what I'm saying? But what I found interesting is that they were harping a lot on this woman's background. Well, her dad was black, her mom is white. She grew up poor. She married a very rich man. She's an immigrant. She had proximity to the Kardashians, and her husband's affluence affords her these opportunities. And all that may be true. But there's something to be said that she knows how to talk. She has a mindset in order to get things moving, do what she need to do, because she said that she had $1 million companies before she was linked up with the Kardashians. Okay. Kris Jenner ain't one to fool when it comes to business. Okay. So this lady used her resources and used her resources, her connections to be able to propel herself forward, in her trajectory for her life and career. She's not a stupid woman. You can learn a lot from her. Now, I reached out to a coworker of mine. I've been working 22 years. She's been working over 30. And I said, hey girl, what are your thoughts about this whole Emma Grede situation? I wanted to get her perspective because I want to see, like, was it just me? Because we're in the same ecosystem for our workplace. So she also didn't think anything was wrong. She already bought the book and was about to read it. So yeah. So like I said, I'm not gonna be the one to say that, oh well, you just coming to work means you're gonna get promoted. Not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that you not coming to work could potentially be another goalpost or obstacle that could be holding you back that you don't know about. That's all I'm saying. And that's kind of what she was putting out there. Like, hey, that could be holding you back in your career. But if you are satisfied with where you are and you're not trying to go further in your career, then don't worry about what she's talking about. If you're in a company or in an organization where you can work from home and you can still thrive and excel in your career, then what she's saying is not for you. It's for the people who are not in those environments, like myself, who have had to make risks and take chances and move across the country multiple times, and be visible and do the things to get my name out there and to be visible and have name recognition and get the boxes checked. She's talking to people like me. I'm not working from home. I love working from home. I really do. As a matter of fact, I was working from home. At the time, it was like 3 days out of a pay period. Yeah. And so my support person was in the office and she went to my supervisor for some reason, asking him something about whatever we was working on. And my supervisor at the time wanted to have want a phone call, a quick telecon, like right then. So I'm working from home. I'm out to lunch. It was like 12 o'clock, middle of the lunch period. I'm out to lunch. And he calls me. I answer the phone. And I said, well, okay. Well, can I give you a call back in about, 10, 15 minutes? And he's like, well, I mean, it's the work day. And I said, well, sir, although I'm teleworking, I am entitled to a lunch break, period. After I told him that man ain't bothered me no more about teleworking or none of that. And so the lady who supported me, when she saw me when I came back the next day, she apologized because she said, well, I went to talk to him, but I didn't, I told we didn't need to meet right now. But she knew full and well what that man was going to do. But I wasn't tripping on it. I wasn't tripping on it because you bring a question to him, he wants to go ahead and get it addressed like right then. He ain't trying to wait until the next day or an hour. He want to get it knocked out right then. So it is what it was. But guess what? I politely told him I'm entitled to a lunch break. And we never had another issue about me working from home or having a lunch break at all because he realized he was being unreasonable. You're calling me at noon and I answered the phone. I had nothing to hide. Nothing to hide. I answered the phone. Can I give you a call back in 15 minutes? I was still at the restaurant. I was cashing out. I just needed to drive home and we could have had the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, you have people with that kind of mindset. You know what I'm saying? And I saw this lady on Instagram and she was talking about like the evolution of teleworking since the COVID, the pandemic, and how every year we went from initially people working from home fully, and then you started come back into the office 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 day a week, 5 days a week. before, oh well, you're doing so much from the house, so we're going to allow you guys to continue to telework, and we're going to cut back on facility costs, da 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 da. Well, we need you guys to come back in so we can have more in-person interaction in community. It's been a journey on our coming back into the office, existence. You know what I'm saying? But yes, y'all, I just want to get on here and talk to the people who are not in work environments where you can be, fully successful and have a elite career working from home 100% of the time. For those who are not in those situations, what she's saying is for you. If you're in an environment where people do not value working from home, let me tell you, you will never hear them say this, but they're gonna look at. Let me just say this to you. I have been around the block a few times, okay? And a lot of times people are not going to tell you what they really think. Okay. And you'll never know. Because yes, you have the ability to work from home, but your leadership is not going to let you think that, well, they have an issue with you working from home. Look at what your leadership does. Are they coming into the office 5 days a week? Are they coming in 4 days and at home one day? Look at what the leadership is doing. Look at what the people are doing in leadership positions and roles. Observe. Okay. And just observe that. Observe what they're doing. That's going to give you a bit of an insight as to how they think about certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I knew that my supervisor had an issue with telework, but I was going to telework because I was allowed to do it. But I made sure that everything I came in, like I said, 3 to 4 days out the week, I came in. And because there were things in my job that I had to be in the office for. So I couldn't telework on. And then certain times of the year I was in the office, 5 days a week. I was. So it just depended on the time of the year and what I had going on in my program. But I'm just saying, I knew that he had an issue with telework. Oh yeah, I knew he did. But that's why I had to make sure I was on point with what I was doing. Okay. So don't, so like I said, I had to be on point. That's the thing. You have to understand your environment and what you're working with. Okay. And what you're working against. Okay. You got to do that. So let me go back to when I was talking about name recognition and visibility and that whole thing I was saying about when let me tell you some more about that. A lot of times, there are opportunities that are coveted, right? And if the right person recognizes your name on the list, you might just have a job. So if people see you, oh, well, she's really nice. She's this, she's that. A lot of it is this, y'all. A lot of times it don't even matter about your qualifications. It just matter if people like you. Seriously, I mean, we all know this, right? But a lot of this stuff that we got to deal with is just, office politics. And the fact that someone is letting you in on what's going on is just them saying, hey, girl, look at what's going on in your office and figure it out. If you're not getting farther in your career, this could be why. Look into it. Find you somebody in your office that can give you some insight. Find you one of them older women who've been around the block a time or two that can kind of give you some insight as to what's going on in the office and how things are done, how the game is played. Because every office has an unwritten rule book that you need to be following that you don't even know exist. Seriously. Seriously. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I could tell y'all some stories, but I'm not because I can't do it right now. This is kind of now kind of moving into just a career mentoring session for those who might want it or need it. If you can get you a mentor, a person in your organization that is high up, that are in the rooms that you're not in, that can help move you forward in your career. Because a lot of times moving forward is about proximity, it's about community, it's about relationships. Now, you still got to be able to perform your work, communicate, present well. You got to do that because don't have this person in these rooms advocating for you and you around here acting a fool on the day-to-day job. Okay. I had this gentleman that's been my mentor for almost 16 years now, I think it's been. And he told me that I'm one of the only people that he's mentored that actually does what he recommends. And then when I meet with him again, I can show him the things I've done towards meeting those goals. I met the goals. Because this is the thing, if I take the time, well, no, if they take their time to meet with me, I'm taking down notes and I'm also um going to execute what they recommend. And I'm not going to meet with you again until I have made progress towards what we've discussed. That's how I operate. I'm not meeting with you every month. We might meet once a year, once every other year, whatever it is. But when I meet with you, you're going to see that I've made progress and I took your feedback into consideration. Okay, that's what I do. But yeah, I know I have kind of went into my own little mentoring session, but my bottom line is regarding Emma Grede is that I don't think she's anything that was wrong. I think that whatever she was talking about pertains to those it's applicable to. It's not applicable to everybody. And I think that some people just want to find something wrong because she's financially successful and she married well. Just to be bottom line with it, to be blunt. Um, Kudos to her. She has been able to, achieve what a lot of women want to achieve. And, and it is what it is. And she's successful with her billion-dollar companies and her proximity with her shows and her book. I wish her the best of luck with everything she's working on. I'm not a hater. I'm not. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and buy the book. I'm gonna read it. I think I am. And I think that it's a good thing. You know, um, I think people have issues with her, trying to utilize American Blacks to move forward her company and whatnot. I don't care about all that. Y'all know me. I don't care about that right there. I'm all about, getting the information, deciding what's applicable for me, and trashing the rest. That's how I operate. Do the same. If you're new here, welcome. Glad you found me. If you haven't done so, please like the video, please share, comment, and most importantly, please subscribe. Okay? I talk about fashion, lifestyle, travel, current events, all the things. Today we were talking about Emma Grede and climbing the corporate ladder, if you will, and working from home and how to be successful and mentoring, all that good stuff. So anyway, y'all, I have lost my voice and it's okay. I'm gonna end the video. But thank you for being here, and I will see you on my next video or live stream, which I do live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, by the way. Subscribe to my channel and you'll get notifications. All right now. Bye.